Brother Dave, what's on your mind?
Well, I was running out of shit to talk about, so I was just talking about what I was thinking about. But for some reason, I've been looking at a whole bunch of like accessory parts for the truck.
Oh, no. You're
But I
getting
don't
ready
know
to
why.
dumb it up, huh?
No, I don't think so, and I haven't even cared to do such. Like, I mean, I like having like my wheels and tires on there. I
And
like
your
to have-
camper shell.
yeah,
I'm a
that's more
big
of
camper
utility.
shell guy.
Me too, buddy.
Like,
But-
Too.
Well, I've been thinking like, hey, you know what I ain't seen in a while that
A
I
luggage rack,
No,
a bull bar.
no, I want a full like daggone.
Go to hell Mad Max bumper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But I want a
boy.
roll bar with like KC lights on it, like they used to.
Like Chuck Norris? Ah! 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you. 'Cause that's where the ranger's gonna be.
Good work, guys.
I really feel like I'm really hammering that lower octave tonight.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing great. So you're thinking, so what got this itch?
I don't know. That's the weird part. It just kind of come out of nowhere, and
You got this itch.
well, I
And the
think
problem is, you ain't got nothing to scratch.
yeah, but I don't want to go like my truck's just fine the way it is, you know. But then I'm like, man, that'd be cool if it was sitting a little taller, and you know, like there's like 37s or 40s.
Oh,
on there.
for God's sakes, Dave, you're going to kill your ride.
I know. Because I always wanted a little like square body Chevy that was all done upright.
Yeah.
But them's getting pretty expensive. I already got a truck, and I was like, well, man, I just do that one upright. But then like
I already told you we're going to do it to the old beast out there.
that thing I need to sell. That's why it got moved again. I need to put the For Sale sign on there.
Somebody will snag that up in a heartbeat.
I hope so. Tired of looking at it.
Some bitch will have a set of praying hands and the Nike swoosh in the back window before you know it.
Yep. How much you think Phil ought to put on something like that?
I bet you could probably get 8
I
to
don't know,
10 for it.
$1,500.
Brother Love said put 5 on there and see what happens. He said you'd probably be surprised.
Well, yeah.
I think you could sell it for probably 8 to 10.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No way. That thing's a pile of shit.
Hey,
230,000 miles.
I thought you meant like $230. I wouldn't give you a boot full of warm piss for it, but I guarantee you some poor sucker out there would pay $5,000 in a heartbeat. I'd put $5,750 on there.
Yeah, you don't
Some-
want to go even number.
That's right. I'd put about $5,750, something like that on there, and then take an even $5.
That's what we'll do.
Title in hand. That's
I think you do 6,500. Because then they're going to come down with a counter. They're going to cut that counter down.
gives
to,
you plenty of room for.
They're going to cut you down to 4,
Dickering.
4.25,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I can't do that. I could probably go 57.5, and then they're like, would you take 5? And then you're like, well, maybe 5,500, and they're going to be like, well, possibly.
All right,
And then
you
get
got
closer.
me. How about 5230? Deal.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
52.76 and 15 cents.
That'll work. I got sales tax.
Hey, you
boys.
got change for a quarter?
We got
yeah, I
sales
do.
tax.
Give
I
an
do.
extra 32 cents so I can mail a letter to my mom about how bad you me on this.
So I've never been, and it's probably just because how I was raised. Never had the extra gizmos and gadgets on a pickup truck, so
Right.
it's never really
Yep.
been my thing. But like as a 16-year-old kid, always wanted the dual exhaust and all that cool stuff. But now
That's how I got looking at this. I got an exhaust leak. So I was looking on, I don't remember which one. I was looking on somewhere for exhaust, and they were all hopping out there. So I
Gonna
went
get you a
back.
Borla.
No, just like a
Borla.
like OEM, but not fact. You know what I mean? Just a regular
You know what OEM stands for?
original equipment manufacturer.
yep, that's what I was gonna go with.
Asking him.
Yeah, I know what OEM is. We had to deal with it when Janelle hit a deer with Lady Tank.
I have never had a lifted vehicle in my life.
Now that truck I got, it's got a leveling kit on it.
I did have a leveling kit. Now, do you consider that lifted?
No, because
Well-
it's called leveling.
Right, but so when I changed the shocks, though,
Yeah,
I
but I
just-
put 2-inch blocks in the back.
now see, because mine were blocks first, but then I decided I didn't like the blocks, so I bought them Rancho extended shocks, and so I consider that suspension lift because the suspension's longer than it was before. So maybe there's a small lift.
Maybe you just turn it into like one of them monster trucks.
Gosh, man, I always wanted a monster truck
That's what we were talking about with that white thing sitting it on like
because
50s.
it's got that big 6.2 in there.
It'll turn them.
Yeah.
Proper
All
gear-
time all wheel drive.
proper gearing.
If it was selectable 4-wheel drive, I'd keep it in a heartbeat. Every time I get in it, I think I'm gonna keep it because it's a pretty. It's got. at
Well, it
least
was the
nice
It's
big,
got a lot of gadgets and gizmos.
it was the team vehicle for the
Holland
Junction boys.
Yeah, the HBJs.
HJBs.
Yeah,
JVs.
HJs.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of felt bad getting rid of it because I built a custom rack back there to hold guns so we could.
Will the HJBs be in action this year?
Yeah.
Okay. I look forward to the updates.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he had going
No.
on. He's a busy
it's okay.
guy.
I just was laughing at the HJ the reference.
Yeah.
Holland Junction.
Yeah.
I've never had a lifted vehicle, but now I have. We were talking about it earlier. I have had a vehicle with some slight mods.
Yeah.
True dual exhaust. I bought an exhaust system for a gentleman back in the day that was installed on a OEM 305 Rat that had gutted out catalytic converters that were pretty much straight off the headers, 45 cut.
Now I guess that Duramax I had, it had just 4-inch straight back from the turbo there, just straight piped, and it had one of them programmer performance hopper up boxes on there.
Yeah.
Put on there. It'd go.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
It's a pretty slick truck. It looked just like Cody's up there. Exact same truck, except I had chrome. Instead of just the chrome stripping down the bottom, it also had like chrome tailgate latch and door handles, and had that Bose stereo in there. No sunroof. Pretty slick machine.
What happened to it?
So in that year, it was in 04, the injector housings would crack, and that happened. And took it in to have them replaced. And they said, hey, we fixed it. And then I got it out of the parking lot, and it was worse than it was when I got it there. So I took it back, and I was like, you didn't fix anything. And then they said, oh, well, we probably need to replace the other 7. So then they replaced all the injectors, and they charged me like $6,000 for it at the end. And like the check engine light was on when I got it, and it was a dealership. Like check engine light was on, 4-wheel drive warning lights were on, and that ended up just being they didn't plug it back in. And then they left a fuel line off, so I was just hosing diesel down all over the inside of everything. And I was like, oh, geez, and it just never seemed the same. So I traded it for that H3 Hummer I had.
You had an H3.
What a fag.
Jenna liked it. Yeah, it had 35 mud.
H3 Hummer.
Yeah, it had 35.
You know, that's a girl car.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, though. A little inline 5.
Did you get a lot of tail in that, baby?
Well, I was married.
So, yeah.
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 But yeah, it was just a good.
When did that stop?
What?
Like car foolery. When did that?
Oh, I thought you were
don't
going
know
to
if
say
I
it was
ever
like,
had any car foolery.
wait, you mean like car foolery with the opposite sex?
Yes. Like
Private
boning in
cars.
your vehicle. When did that stop? When did that stop?
I don't know that I've ever boned in my vehicle.
Some may say it hasn't stopped.
Well, good for you, bub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
say
I mean,
maybe it hasn't.
Yeah. That's why you sit at the bottom of the driveway so long sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
No, I just I don't know. I've never really had I've always wanted like a lifted vehicle, like a dumb lifted one, like you're talking about. But like you said, it's never been feasible. Like even when I bought this Expedition, my plan was to do the same thing. Like they make a small 2 or 3 inch leveling kit that's got like the shock tower spacers, and then it's got, you know, you redo the shocks in the rear, but it doesn't change anything with the rear because it's all independent suspension all around, you know, whatever. And then I would do some tires or some wheels that have a little bit of like back spacing, you know, give it some stance. But it's just silly money that you don't need to blow for.
That's how I feel about it.
You
That's
know,
what I want.
38, 39-year-old guy with 3 kids. It's literally running a taxi service. Like, I don't need.
But now
anything.
I did see that because I guess nobody wants them. I found a 3-tube roll bar, black one, not chrome, because my truck wouldn't look good with chrome on there, and it was only like $165. I don't think it'd be functional. Like, if
But that'd be a nice quality roll bar for $165.
well, I feel like you're not buying it to roll over.
Did you get that from Vivor or
No,
Harbor Freight or
real
China Market?
truck? Real truck?
Real Truck China?
Maybe. Hey, you know what? Most of the steel here in America comes from China anyway.
Right. Now, would you put lights on there? Big old go to hell KC lights with the smiley face
That's the thing.
covers?
Everybody's got the light bars now, but I just was like, man, just the big old 4-inch KC daylighters with the smiley face covers.
I don't know. I passed some asshole in a Jeep that he had one of those.
Yeah.
What I used to mow with, he had his on, and I wanted to get the Glock out of the glove box and freaking let it eat.
That freaking car lawnmower looked like a spaceship. There's a goddamn UFO coming down the driveway. Nope, that's just Casey mowing.
Just cutting grass. I love it. I love cutting grass at night. It's weird to cut grass during the day.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about getting a sunburn at night, Dave.
I mowed one night about 3 a.m. out here. I was all tuned up, and everybody went to bed, so I started mowing.
Hey, lounge is closed up. Gotta go cut grass.
You got just 2 headlights on the tractor and then a headlamp, you know, and he just
This
looked.
was before the tractor had the Z-turn. It had these 2 like LED headlights that they said, but it didn't light up a damn thing. That's why I stopped. I hit a tree.
Dave's out there with he's got a Bic lighter in his hand trying to guide his path.
Carbide headlamp.
Trying to figure it out. I don't know. I've always been just how it comes out of the factory is what it is. I've never had anything that had any kind of special detail to it.
Oh,
Harley.
I've done like sound systems. You know, you
Never even done that.
I've done like a CD player. Matter of fact, when I got my first truck, Dad took it down to Dr. Dashboard for me for my birthday, and he put one of those. I think I sent it to our other group with Dougie.
With the dolphins?
Yeah, the remember
Pioneer?
the Pioneer that had
Pioneer,
like
yeah.
the dolphins swimming in the background and the rev limiter and all that.
Yeah.
I had something very similar to that. And then he put some like tweeters in the dash, and then like maybe some new 6x9s in the door. And it was loud. Like it was a bitchin' radio because it was a '88 Chevy Cheyenne. It was the first year for the
Rectangle headlight.
overhead throttle body too. So mine was fuel injected. So, but yeah, so like I've had louds, and I think I did put some subs in. I don't know if I had subs in my Buick or if I put some subs in the trunk of that Bonneville, but I've done stupid shit like that before.
I had 2 tins in my standard cab Ranger.
Right. So like I've done silly shit like that. CBs,
It
you
was
know.
raining. My sister had a hold him when I picked her up from summer school, and she gets so pissed off
Oh my
because
god.
I'd put him in the bed of the truck most of the time, but if it was raining, she just had him hold that big stupid
Jensen.
I had-
That's even better.
I had a Pioneer CD player, an old red Chev, until somebody in Evansville ripped it out.
Yeah,
Dad.
they needed it more than you.
Yeah. Mine even had like where you could take the face off.
That's how this was too, and it had like a custom case that the face would go on.
Yeah.
My truck got robbed, and I had a very specific place that I'd hide my faceplate in my truck.
You told me that.
Yeah.
And they found it, and that was what made you think it was an inside job.
Suckers. Maybe it's all the modificating I've been doing to the buggy.
What else have you done to the
That's-
buggy
oh,
lately?
What
It
hasn't he?
It looked dumb as shit when we bought it. Like, There's no bumper on it. Looked like a pug dog, just flat nose.
Pug
It bigger than shit, man. It was
I told him that. He was talking about getting reverse lights and all this mumbo jumbo. I said, buddy, you better get you a bumper. First things first. You better get you a bumper.
No, I just Pioneer CD players. That's an old. You remember the Crutchfield magazine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are those companies even around anymore?
I don't know. I feel like I ran into Crutchfield not too long ago.
Jags.
Oh yeah, you'd get the Jags
book. And what the hell was the other one that you'd get? Shit. It wasn't Truckin'. I mean, Truckin' is a magazine, but this one was
for those sport fans at home when the
J.C.
East Bay
Whitney.
would come.
J.C. Whitney. Yes. Yes, sir. J.C. Whitney. What was the boat book?
Never was into the boat stuff. Couldn't tell.
It's boating season. I can't believe how high
There was a boat magazine that was basically like J.C. Whitney, but it was all for boats. God damn it. I can't think of that name for nothing.
I can't believe how high Patoka Lake is. Like where that little pier is on 145.
Guy
That
ain't
kind
gonna
of.
be out there.
Summer
pumping
pool,
water, huh?
man.
What do you mean summer pool?
Like it's summer pool. Like it's the lake's up for boating and recreating.
Fins
and
up.
keeping the water off the bottoms so the farmers' crops will grow.
Well, but I'm saying it's higher than what it has been in my 5 years of driving.
Right, because we've got a shit pot full of
They didn't discharge any this winter,
right. Because they couldn't because it was already flooded.
so it's like up,
Right.
up. Well, Dave, we wish you best of luck in the makeover of your truck.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's
It's good to dream.
That's why it's called a wonder.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wonder.